Yes, let's start. So our problem is about the valuation of a swap contract. And first, let me show our understanding of the swap contract. We have two counting methods for the swap. One is single curve and one is dual curve. Basically, the swap valuation starts now, and the first interest swap starts in 3 months, and then the tenor is 6 months, which means in 9 months the second interest swap will start. So the fixed payment is 3%, and for the float payment, single curve pays the overnight index swap, which is Easter in our case. And in the dual curve accounting, the floating payment is just the Euribor. We need to evaluate the swap. So what we need to note is that in the first interest payment, which is 3 months later, we'll pay the interest rate for a 6 months period. So the interest rate here, especially the floating interest rate here, whatever it is, Easter or Euribor here, starts 3 months before now. So we need to first get the data, the Easter data, and also the Euribor data to decide how much we need to pay in the float side. So let's just go to the Bloomberg for data. And in Bloomberg, we can use the swap curve builder function to get the data here. Yes. This is the screen for the swap curve builder function. And in this one function, we can see that there is a zero rate, there is a forward rate, there is interval, and there is tenor. Let me first explain these indicators. Interval just means the frequency of observation of that data. That means if we observe once a day, that means it will give us daily data. If we observe 3 months, then every 3 months it will give us the data. So this interval function is not that important because whether we choose 3 months or 6 months, it will give us the exact same results in its zero rate in 3 months, which is the May 16th. If we choose 6 months, it will give us the interest in August 16th. So it will be exactly the same if we choose 3 months or 6 months. So it doesn't matter here. Tenor is just the period of the swap. That is 6 months in our case. This indicator is important because if we choose 3 months, it's just the interest for 3 months. If we choose 6 months, it's interest for 6 months. So we need to strictly follow the instructions and choose 3 months. And zero rate, what is zero rate here? Zero rate is a daily rate. Analyze the daily rate. It means we know that OIS is a backward rate. So we don't have a yield curve here. We just have daily data based on the daily transactions here. So all this zero rate actually come from the standing contracts of swaps and forwards or whatever. They got this zero rate for OIS, but we need to note that this is also an overnight rate. So we need to get forward rate from the zero rate. The forward rate is just we have a period. The period is just starting from now until February 16th. The tenor is 6 months. The forward rate is what? So we then use the formula to calculate the forward rate here. First, we calculate B, that is the bond value. We have two formulas. Bond value of starting from 3 months to 9 months is equal to this, and the bond value of starting from 3 months to 9 months is equal to this according to some replication method, and then we get the forward rate calculation formula. And after we get the formula, we can use zero rate to calculate the forward rate. So our calculation is in the Excel here. Note that for the first interest payment, we need to use OIS or Euribor 3 months ago to calculate the first interest payment. And then we use zero rate from Bloomberg to calculate B, which is the discount factor, and then calculate the F, which is the forward rate. And then we calculate the OIS and the 3-month Euribor forward rate. Now, because the second interest payment and the third interest payment are based on forward rate now when we sign the contract. So we need to calculate them based on the data observation now. Whereas the first interest payment is based on the data 3 months ago. So we need to use the forward rate 3 months ago to calculate the first interest forward rate to get the interest rate payment data. After we get forward rate, we can calculate the float rate payment here, right? We get OIS, we get Euribor float rate, we know what we should pay for float. And then we go to here. And then we go here. This is the OIS forward rate. And this is what the floating need to pay. And this is what the fixed need to pay. And this is discount factor. Note that whether we use dual curve or single curve, the discount factor is always the risk-free rate, which is the Easter in our case. It is the OIS, overnight index swap rate. So after we discount the fixed, discount the float, we get the present value of float, present value of fixed, and calculate the difference between the swap. It should be close to 0, as we can see. And if we want it to be 0, actually we can change our fixed rate. Maybe when it's 3.4 in this case, it nearly goes to 0. We can change it whatever it goes to 0 to make the swap contract seems fair. And that is our answer for this question. And thank you.